Hello, my name is Francesco, and today I'm going to present assignment 9. So this video is going to be split in two parts. In part 1, I will state my name. Well, my name is Francesco. I will describe my contribution and I will demonstrate the project running. The video is going to be a screen capture of the project running while I explain what it does. And then in part 2 of the video, I will open the code in the Word doc and I will discuss line by line what my code does. So then let's get to the first part. Going to describe my contribution, and essentially, this project is a full terrain generation and editing system in Java that creates a 3D height map using simplex noise, and it allows the user to interactively modify the terrain through a graphic user interface. It generates a fractal-like terrain, and it exports it to an OBJ file, including different vertices, normals, faces. And this GUI lets the users adjust the terrain's height via slider, like raising, lowering, flattening the entire terrain to zero, like zero elevation kind of thing, and it also lets it reset to the original state. So yeah, essentially, for this assignment, we need to implement this terrain editing and add this functionality in interactivity. Yeah, so we were successful in achieving that. So now I will go to the demo. This is my code. It takes a little bit of time to generate it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to run this. Perfect. Then I will start. And okay, here it is, the OBJ. I'm going to open it with Xcode. Perfect. And we have that part. It's great. So now we're gonna run the GUI. Perfect. So we have this here. So now what we're gonna do is, well, right now we see it we see a lot of texture here, a lot of elevation here. The height multiplier is set to max. So let's click on flatten, and we're gonna see that the whole terrain has flattened now. There's no 3D aspect to this at all. And let's say that right now, I just want to put it to update it to 3, and yeah, the height is multiplied to 3. And let's say we want to reset it. It's going to go back to 1. So we do see some height there. And then let's say I want to put it to all the way to 5. And then we see the difference here. Looks very nice. Okay, yeah, that would be all for the demo. So now let's move on to the part 2 of the video, which is I'm going to open the code in the Word doc and discuss more specifically line by line what I did. So there's a lot of collaboration in this one, very specifically, like we were checking each other's code and kind of coding together, but more specifically to the parts that we did. Personally, I started by first adding this println line. In order to give context, we have this this try catch block, which means that we're about to run a code that might throw an exception. In this case, the IOE exception. So Then save to obj file. This line just very quickly calls a method that saves the current height map data to a file named fractal terrain obj, the one that we opened in Xcode, and it essentially imports the terrain to a 3D in a 3D model format. So what I did here, I just added this line in the sense of if saving the message works without error, this message prints to the console and it confirms success. So we felt like that's something we needed. If something if something goes wrong, we have the catch IOE, and then this prints out the full error details. So now moving on to more specifically what I did is we first have this private static. This is a method that makes a deep copy of the 2D float array called source. This array represents the terrain's height map, and what I wanted to do is to make a full copy of it so we can work with it or restore it later without accidentally modifying the original, if that makes sense. Then in the second line, we create a brand new 2D array called copy with the same dimensions as the original. It's like pretty much setting up an empty canvas, and we'll fill it with the same height values from source. Then in this line, this is the start of a loop that will go through every row in the height map. Think of X as a horizontal position across the terrain, pretty much. And then we have the inside the loop, we use system array copy to quickly and also efficiently copy one full row into the same row as our new array. And this avoids manually copying each value one by one. And after copying all the rows, we return the new array. Now we have a clean copy of the original terrain that we can use later, like when we want reset changes, like I showed in the demo. And then going all the way here, this is the part that there's a lot of interaction between our different contributions, because this was all part of the terrain GUI. But more specifically, you do need this context in order to understand this, but I'm talking more specifically about my lines that I added. This first line adds the label to the window that shows the current height multiplier. I would say it's just a small piece of text that updates as the user moves the slider, so they know what value they're working with, like we showed in the demo. Next, we add the slider itself over here. The main control for adjusting terrain height. It lets the user pick a random from 1 to 5, like we saw, which scales the height of the terrain up or down. And then we have the update button. So we add it to the window, and when clicked, it reads the slider's current value and applies that multiplier to the terrain, changing how tall or flat it looks. Then this button flattens the whole terrain. It basically sets every height value to 0. It's like in a way, it's like completely getting rid of the landscape, and it makes it into a giant flat pancake kind of thing. And then the reset button is like the undo button. It brings back the terrain to how it looked originally, like we saw in the demo. And this uses the deep copy that we made earlier with copy height map. And the end button, this was pretty simple. It lets the user close the application when it's done. It just calls system exit to it shuts things down clearly. And then finally this one, and this makes the whole GUI visible. Up until now we've just been building it in memory. So this is the moment it actually pops up on the screen so the user can start clicking around. And that would be all for today. Thank you.